Howdy, folks. Welcome to the show.
I'm here with Mickey Mouse.
You intro us. I'm going to fix the camera again. We keep getting the camera on.
We do.
I do. Sorry.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Time on Feet podcast. Welcome back. Probably cut out all that beginning.
Never.
Shenanigans.
People like to hear it. It's real.
Yeah.
I'm Hal Johnson. This is Joanne McLeod. Welcome to Body
This
Break.
is Body Break.
Oh, welcome to the Time on Feet podcast. Our podcast. Sorry if we have copyright infringement issues now, but we shouldn't because I'm not Hal Johnson.
You're not?
Not Joanne.
I'm not Joanne McLeod. They're married. Real life.
Are they still alive?
Yeah, I don't think it was that long ago.
Oh. I thought they had passed away. R.I.P.
They both passed away.
Wow, it's like
it's for sure still alive. Google that.
It's still alive. Them are still alive.
As one.
All right.
Yeah. Well,
here we are.
Welcome back to the show.
An afternoon taping
of the Time on
afternoon
Feet
filming.
Yes.
Rare for us, but
yeah, we
had a day.
Trying to get it in when we can.
Yep.
And
bringing it to you when it's fresh.
When it's fresh, yeah.
Sorry, my hair is terrible. The stupid headset is giving me bad bangs.
He's been messing with the hair.
I've been playing with it. Here it is. The Geordie LaForge, I call it.
Oh, that's perfect.
You can't see you. You can't see me.
Yeah, can't see.
How are you, love?
Good. So the title of today's show is probably on your screen on your pod, but it is. Yes. Today we're talking respecting the trail.
Yes.
We're talking trail safety for runners, and what that looks like. If you're one of those individuals who's not watching the pod, you're really missing out.
Yeah,
on George's antics. And lots of times he is flexing in the camera often. He loves to see his currently and doing some sort of movement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if
I blame my gym for having
or if
it's my gym. My gym has no mirrors.
That's true.
So I don't get to see my gains unless I'm on camera.
Yeah, that's true. So there you go.
Yeah.
Because all the other mirrors in the house don't work either. So
they don't film me in 4K.
But it's a treat if you watch on Spotify.
Thank you.
Or YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you don't, you're missing out.
Yep.
But I am doing good. We are here on a Sunday afternoon. We're filming. We thought we'd have a little bit of time, so let's kind of do a pod while we can. It's been a busy summer. Gearing up for a very busy next 2-3 weeks, like crazy. So, but yeah, doing good, preparing for the Canadian Death Race.
Yep.
118K. So getting ready for that. Got some brand new shoes, the Norda 055s, and breaking those in. And I'm absolutely loving them. And what else? We did a mountain the other day. Today we did about 13K on the trails. Mm-hmm. And I'm feeling good. Knock on wood. I've said this before, but after Sinister and thank you. And after Lady McDonald that we did the other day. And then after the trip, my legs are feeling really good.
Yeah.
So that's encouraging.
Good.
How are you?
Good. Tired. I think every time I say I'm tired.
You do. Every single time.
So I'm still tired.
Yeah. That hasn't changed.
Nobody's giving me tips, Blaze, on how to not be tired.
Is that the one tip you need?
Yeah. That's all I need here. And yes, I drink coffee.
Yeah. A lot.
And it's not helping.
Yeah.
Still tired.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think not that much. I'm good. We got a good run in today. I also am wearing those 055s, but I think mine are breaking. I'm not breaking them in. They're just breaking. But we'll take that up with Norda.
Mm-hmm.
Send them pictures.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a issue.
They're soft. They're cushiony.
Yeah.
But maybe that makes them a little less
So for those
durable.
who listened to our Sinister 7 race recap, they would have heard that you had twisted or rolled your ankle pretty badly on the trail. How's that doing?
Sore. A week out from that. A little over. It's sore. Yeah. The swelling's almost completely gone. It's still a little swollen.
Actually, we're only 1 week now that you say that. It feels like long.
Yeah, it's a week. And it hurts quite a bit. Lateral aspect, lateral malleolus, for my anatomy buffs out there. hurts.
Yeah.
My pinky, like the whole way down from my little pinky toe.
Yeah.
This little piggy.
Little baby.
All the way to my, like, down to that malleolus hurts.
Yeah.
Like, it's not broken, but it hurts.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. So.
And then on your other foot, you have a couple purple toes.
Mm-hmm. Those are colorful, but so I haven't ran this week really, and it's been, I couldn't. So
yeah,
I mean, it sucks, but we have, like you said, we have the death race coming up here in less than 2 weeks. Crazy. We'll be running that on your birthday.
I know.
Happy 30th. Crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. And then I have no training time because I'll have this week coming up, so maybe a couple runs in, and then it's the taper week. So I'll basically be running that one if I can. I think I can, but with no training for it.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. So I'm good. Otherwise, all is well.
Good.
Thanks for checking in with me. You made us delicious smoothies before this podcast, so we're fueled up.
Yeah. Ready to go. Ready to talk about trail safety. So we're talking respect the trail. We're talking trail safety for runners. And the reason why we're talking about that is because of our most recent experiences.
Yeah.
And,
our learnings,
because you can prepare and that sort of thing, and you can hope for something and some sort of result from the race and some sort of feeling. But the truth is that sometimes we're not ready for when the unknown happens.
Yeah, totally. And we put a podcast out a few months back when things go sideways.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of playing off that a little bit because things did go sideways at Sinister 7. And what I think we both became acutely aware of at times was the safety side of things. Not just the fact that things went sideways, but did we plan accordingly? Were our safety measures in check?
Yeah.
How could we better outline this for people so we're clear with what we mean by safety considerations, not just things kind of going sideways, but really highlight for you folks what we mean by that and give you some tangible input and feedback and tips on how to be safe on the trail. So this is a trail specific podcast. Anybody tuning in to listen to road content, you're not going to get that today. This is purely trail. There's likely some things that we can discuss in terms of road safety, but that's not what we're going to highlight today.
In the future. Because I do a lot of road running. So that's it. And especially as a woman, that might be a podcast for another time too. And some of the experiences that I've had. But specific to trail safety, I think that, it's been a week out from Sinister 7. So we did about 85 kilometers.
Yeah.
We were in the mountains on trails. And then in reflecting the past week about that race, and kind of what happened, and little mistakes that we made, and just reflecting on things we could have done better. That's kind of what brought this to kind of the forefront of our minds, and some things that we didn't really prepare enough for, plan for, and that kind of thing. So when the unknown happens, really, it can be a myriad of things.
Absolutely.
And it can really depend on, where you're running, and the temperature. One of the big things that really stuck out to us, and we saw a lot of people struggled with this. There was a lot of DNFs, so did not finish.
This is kind of always the case.
Yeah.
Right. There's, I think a lot of these races have 30 to 50% DNF rates. Like they're quite high.
Yeah. And one of those big factors for the race that we just did when the temperatures reached 30 degrees Celsius was that heat stroke.
Yeah.
And what can really happen if you're not extremely cognizant and intentional about keeping that body temperature regulated and down.
Yeah. That's 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit for our American listeners.
Yeah.
Hotter than the surface of the sun.
Felt like.
Yeah, it was hot. Yeah, you're right. There's kind of a severity index almost, or a spectrum, right? Like some stuff is, and we can clump it all into safety considerations, but some stuff is very extreme.
Yeah.
And it's safe, like life or limb type issues. And other stuff is minor-ish injuries to moderate injuries, like hospital or for sure ending your race, DNF stuff. But it like you said, it could be a cascade.
Yeah, exactly.
Things could go from bad to worse when you're out there. And truthfully, you could be in a whole pile of shit if you don't prep properly. So do you want to break down, you're talking about heat. So I know that you're talking about hypothermia, hyperthermia, overheating, heat stroke. That stuff is real. And like you mentioned, this race was hot and we were dealing with it. We think, I think I got a mild form of heat stroke while being out there. And I'm certain others did. It guaranteed people under hydrated and under supplemented with their sodium. So, and electrolytes in general, you sweat a lot of stuff out, but
and even just, the heat itself, if you're not supplementing and refueling like accordingly, and if you're dehydrated, I mean, it can have a huge impact on your race and on, how you function throughout your race. I think that I had personally, speaking of road running, was it last year at the Calgary Marathon? It was very hot. I hadn't even realized quite how hot it was. I was dealing with extreme iron deficiency, so this could be a factor as well, but ran the race and I was sick after for all night and all on the way home.
She puked on the deer foot
like multiple times.
Like, go girl.
Yeah, and not a guy who drove by. We had to pull over multiple times on the highway. And a guy shouted at me on the way by, giving me.
But we're not talking about you roadies.
Yeah.
We're talking
us roadies.
Trail folk. But here. But yeah, for sure it's a parallel. Like you can get heat stroke anywhere.
You can get heat stroke running anywhere. Inside your house, I'm sure probably too. To some extent. But yeah, you can easily get that and not even notice. I think that that's a big thing with heat stroke is sometimes it can be sneaky hot. And those temperatures can be, mid to moderately high, but not the hottest you've ever run in. And then all of a sudden you're drinking a little bit less, you're not hydrating effectively or properly, and then it starts to catch up to you, right?
I honestly don't think you ever know you have it until you're puking.
I know.
Going, oh my God, I think I have heat stroke.
Yeah. And we just listened to this podcast. I was just trying to look up the stats on my phone, but we just listened to this podcast and I'm going to completely butcher this, but he talked about the long-term effects of heat stroke.
Right. Yeah.
And he was saying how for 5 years after you suffer from heat stroke, hyperthermia, your body you could be more susceptible. I think 7 times more susceptible to getting heat stroke. Your body can have a hard time.
5 to 7, somewhere in there for sure.
Your body can have a hard time thermoregulating for years after. And that was crazy.
Yeah, that was shocking to hear that. Definitely a big impact that you don't you think it's an acute thing. Like you have it, you're fixed a day later.
Once you recover. Yeah.
That was odd to hear. Surprising to hear.
What else can happen when the unknown happens?
What can't happen? We can catch all. We have a list. Why don't you just roll through the list for people, and then we can talk about a few.
Yeah. So besides kind of that heat stroke, that hyperthermia. So again, hypo and hyper, too hot or too cold, and your body can respond after the fact. Injury is a big thing.
Boo.
So that is probably one of the biggest things. It's when we talk about when the unknown happens, that's one of the biggest things that could happen. It's unknown. No one's planning to get injured.
No.
And in your case, you're cruising along. We weren't on a particularly technical trail.
Not at all.
The whole entire thing, I guess, was technical, but like the segment that we were on specifically wasn't particularly rocky or roady. What were you doing when you got injured and how did that happen?
Somebody put a banana peel out there. And my golly, I slipped on that sucker.
You slipped like a little.
You wouldn't think it possible.
Curious George.
Yeah.
That's who did it.
It was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your namesake.
Yeah, my namesake. No, injuries are I think commonplace in trail running. And I would bet you, twisted ankles, buckled knees, things like that happen every single race without question.
But I mean, we even finished and we'll go back to your little story, but we finished and saw a picture of a guy who fell and he had, and I've seen this actually quite a few times on mountain runs and especially rocky terrain, gashed his head.
Oh, bad.
Blood all down his face. And so an injury like that too can even happen, right?
Yeah, get a concussion or something like that too.
Yeah.
The flesh wound is bad in itself, but if you're hitting your melon on something, that could be really bad. For me, I was just running on a trail and I was screwing around with my poles, trying to get it unclipped. And this, for our listeners, this is my first time running with my Lecky poles in a race. And they were good when they were locked in and I was using them uphill, but the rest of the time were just a complete pain in the butt. Storage was annoying, getting them unclipped, clipped. The mechanism on the hand was sticky. Like I couldn't get it off there. So I was frigging around with that. Mm-hmm. And I stepped on a rock or a root or something on a very runnable stretch of road. It was not like we were at full run pace, which adds, to the danger of it, I think too. And that was all it took. It was one little lapse in mental focus, taking my eyes off. Like when we say respect the trail, we mean respect the trail. If you're not paying attention to what you're doing, you stand a very good chance of injuring yourself. Yeah. You're moving at a very high speed sometimes, and the terrain in our mountainous regions is no joke. The terrain in our own city that we just ran 2 hours ago, if you're not looking at it, you'll break your leg. So anywhere you go, you need to respect the trail and pay attention. And so for me, that was a big impact to my race. It didn't end my race, but it could have, and it probably injuries end a lot of people's races every time they're out. Yeah,
exactly. So injuries, getting lost is something that can also happen. So before we do and embark on these ultras, all of us who are out there have to sign a waiver. And the reason for that is because you do risk, and Mom, don't listen to this, but life and limb going out there, right? Realistically, and that's why we hone in so much on respecting the trail, respecting the mountain, because you're in the wilds, you are in the wilderness. You could be 50 kilometers from the closest rescue person, a paramedic, ATV. And so, and you could get lost out there. Like it is so easy. If you miss a flag, you could go left instead of going right, and you can find yourself 5-6 kilometers in. And we've heard of it happening, and completely turned around and not sure where you're going.
Did we get lost in the last race? Did we go off course?
No, I don't think
we did.
Oh, we did?
Yeah. We missed a marker off to the side completely.
Yeah. That's right.
And kept going the wrong way. As did another runner.
And it was very well marked. That says a lot about us. But
yes.
But yeah, no, totally. And because I think getting lost is really easy actually in these ultras, because you get into sometimes a little bit of a flow state where it's just your brain isn't registering some of the things that you're seeing. And this is why we talk about like picking up your feet and really like checking in with what you're doing and your legs are doing. But to prevent injury, but also to prevent getting lost, because I mean, it was well flagged. Then there got to a certain point, and thank goodness Sinister Sports just has their stuff so well flagged. But it got to a point I had gone straight, and then we started to see that there was no flags for a while.
Right. Yeah.
And then someone behind us shouted as loud as he could.
Yeah.
And said, "It's this way." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And he saved us twice that day. So.
Yeah,
he had given you an Advil once you.
I think that was the same fellow. And the reality is that you race or not in the trails, you're remote. You're accessing parts of the world that are not really accessible for a lot of people. You're
not well traveled.
You're not getting a fixed wing aircraft in there. You might get a helicopter in if you're lucky, but the truth is that if you injure yourself in a remote part of the Canadian wilderness, you might have to haul yourself kilometers to get to an accessible part of a trail.
Yeah.
And that's something that you need to be aware of before you set foot on that trail, not just because you have to sign a waiver during a race or what have you, but because you are the only person responsible for you. Yeah. And there were moments in our Sinister 7 adventure that I felt acutely aware of that. And we were talking about this last night, or a few nights ago, that, when we get to the dark and it's dark, like it is pitch black, and sometimes it can be a mind game, but for me, I was very acutely aware of, oh my goodness, like we are in the middle of nowhere on super sketchy terrain. Anything could happen here.
In the pitch.
Pitch black. Nobody's around.
Yeah.
Nobody will see you.
Yeah.
And my headlight was dying.
Yeah.
So, there's some severe consequences if you're underprepared. And that's why I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah. And I was acutely aware of that when we did our race just recently. And I was wearing the headlamp in question that was dying. But we're not sure if that was battery or because we dropped it in the creek, number of things. But it was so dim. It was getting really sketchy. And I was acutely aware because you kind of had ran ahead a little bit and I was back there in the stillness and quietness. And I remember thinking, yeah, this could quite literally end badly, even though you were around. And at some point you would have noticed that I wasn't
I'd carry you out on my back.
Or just kept going. She can fend for herself back there.
Okay.
But I was acutely aware that, say you hadn't been ahead, if something were to happen, if you were to fall, if whatever, then
my leg looks really long. Okay. Sorry. Continue.
Then I would be and you weren't up there, then I would be hooped until the next person came along, which hopefully they do.
Yes.
And just so people know, for ultras and most all races, there is a sweeper. Someone eventually will come along. They take a look at your bibs. They make sure you're into the checkpoints for a reason. And if your bib goes missing, like they will send out a search party. There are, safety factors like that at play. But realistically, when you're out there, you are in the wilderness. You have to respect the trail. And when my headlamp was starting to die and really flickering and quite dim, it really got sketchy, right? Yeah. And so that can happen. That can be, an unknown thing that can happen when your gear starts to kind of crap out. Also wild animals and animal encounters, we hear about them. I mean, thank goodness we haven't had to experience those.
Yeah.
But when you're in the Canadian Rockies or any mountain range, you're going to have predators. And so for us in particular, that's black bears, brown bears, grizzlies, depending on where you're at. And then also cougars.
Yeah, squirrels.
Squirrels can be really nasty.
Beef cows.
You take their nuts.
Beef bears.
Beef bears, yeah.
As a friend pointed out.
Yeah. Wild cows.
Wild
is what
cows.
You're referring to. But no, but realistically it's bears,
cougars.
And it's cougars for the most part. But in some places you're dealing with snakes.
True.
And different stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Whatever other animals are out there. But and so that can be an unknown that's happened. I've known many people that have ran into bears during races.
Every race that's sinister, somebody runs into a bear.
And even the grizzly race last year, and there was a counter mama and her babies and stuff were on the trails, and it's definitely something that happens. So there are lots of unknowns that can happen. And if you're not doing your research enough beforehand too, a lot of unknowns can come out of that.
Yeah, I think, and one more thing I'll add, I know it's not on our list, but you can kind of clump it into the heat stuff, but it's the fueling stuff. It's the hyponatremia if you're running sodium deficits.
That was the word I was trying to think of the other day.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
Boom.
We were talking about
it. We were, totally. Yeah, so if your sodium levels are falling off a cliff.
Yeah.
Electrolyte imbalances, you're, guaranteed, I think, to experience electrolyte imbalances.
Yeah.
And discomfort that can come from that, under fueling. You could be hypoglycemic. Your blood sugar could dump off a cliff. You might end up bonking.
Yeah.
Those are all safety considerations when you're on a mountain, especially when you're on a mountain at night at elevation. And if you're feeling off or if you're shaky because your blood sugar's in your boots, that's super dangerous. Very, very real and really dangerous. And as we know we're touched on sinister a lot just because it's recent, and that's what has put this into our heads to be a little more hyper aware of these things, because when you go into these longer distance races, and with a 118 kilometer race looming, where we know we're going to likely be running multiple hours in the dark, you need to really put these things to the forefront of your planning so that you don't have these issues as much as you can control. That is right. So maybe we shift now into no, we don't.
No, I think that it's good to mention too in the ultra world. We hear "say no to rhabdo" as coined by the David and Megan Roche.
I thought it was Albert Einstein.
So rhabdo, for those who don't know, is rhabdomyolysis is a serious condition where your damaged muscle tissue breaks down and enters your bloodstream, I believe.
Yeah.
Can really infect your really affect your liver and kidneys. And that can present in different ways. And one really kind of pointed way that a lot of people realize when they have it, or that they could potentially have it, is if you're not going to the bathroom, if you're not peeing, and if you're not processing some of the liquid that you're intaking, or then when you do go to the bathroom, it's like a darker color. But this is kind of one of those things that when your body's off kilter due to various factors, and that could also be heat, it could be your exertion, and those kind of things. These are things that can happen inside your body, right? That are not only, it's when the unknown happens, but it's not a physical injury that's happened. You're not falling, you haven't twisted an ankle,
right.
But internally, maybe you don't feel right. And I think with the trail and with these ultra distances, and it kind of goes a little bit along with trail safety in terms of you have to listen to kind of what's going on inside your body just as much as outside, right? And that kind of goes along with that heat stroke piece too. Will you be willing to talk a little bit about what happened to you as far as after? We did not mention this in our Sinister race recap.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to bring it up, but basically, and I'll let you take it, but we had finished the race and that kind of thing. We were super hot. It was really warm out, really, really warm. Finished the race. We had the AC going. You had wanted a Slurpee really bad. It was like midnight by the time we kind of got in the car and stuff.
Yeah.
You want a Slurpee. So we go to the convenience store, and you go to step out of the car.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah. And I might have been dealing with some dehydration too. Another safety concern. So many safety concerns. You'd think the sport were unsafe.
Yeah.
Almost.
I don't think that.
That's why you sign a waiver.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took one step out of the car and I was immediately just frozen to the core. And I came back in, put a blanket on, coat, and sat there shivering for 10 minutes.
But it was the weirdest thing because
it was.
You were almost, it almost looked like seizing a little bit.
Oh,
like
yeah, I was
the way that, convulsing. Yeah. The way that you were shivering, I was like, what is happening? And
yeah,
when you said I'm cold, I just thought, oh, you just got to chill. But you were, like your teeth were chattering.
Yeah. Yeah. I think and again, that's what I think I had moderate heat stroke. I think this was just like, I was in like a shock state almost.
You were,
that moment, that experience led me so full disclosure, we didn't pack our emergency blankets, the little tinfoily blankets.
We bought them,
but they tell you to put them in, and we don't need this shit.
We didn't say that. We just actually forgot them. But.
Right. Yeah. In my mind, I was saying that. And then that happened. I'm like, what if that were to happen at 2 a.m. on the top of a mountain?
Yeah.
And the winds that we experienced were howling winds. I mean, and the temperature drops the second the sun goes, and the temp drops 10 degrees, 15 degrees, 20 degrees almost instantly.
Yeah.
You can get a little bite of a chill that can turn into hypothermia very quickly, especially if you've injured yourself or broken a bone. You're going to go into shock as is. And you'll freeze. Yeah. And that's life or limb for sure. So that was a learning, and it just took going to get a slushie to realize that, and heat stroke.
And in the end, he didn't get a slushie because he was so cold. So what we ended up doing was we turned around, we thankfully had a blanket packed, and turned on the heat in your heated seat. And then we went from having the AC to immediately having 30-degree heat. We were cranking again. And I thought, oh my goodness, I hope that this doesn't get worse. And eventually it stopped. But I think your body was really in a shock state from, I think it was the after effect of all the heat.
Yeah.
And also your body overcompensating for the pain and what had happened to your ankle and just the exertion, right?
Yeah, and it probably took an hour.
Yeah.
For that, we had driven back to our rental.
Yeah.
I had to have a shower and a red hot shower, and I was still frozen afterwards. And I bundled up, and eventually it came around. But it was, that would be so much worse on the side of a mountain.
Exactly.
Really bad.
Yeah. So these are all things that can happen, those are all unknowns that can happen just at the drop of a hat. You have no idea. You're not planning for them. So what's the solution to that? We have coined what we like to call the 3, sometimes 4 Ps. Plan, prepare, perform.
Penis. Oh, no, it's 5 Ps, sorry.
And when all goes sideways, plan, prepare, perform. And if it all goes sideways, pivot.
Yeah.
And so, What can we do to plan?
Well, we can plan better.
We can actually plan.
The way that we coined and how we wanted to discuss or describe planning was the overarching plan, right? So that was you have a goal, you're doing a thing, a run somewhere, a race somewhere. The plan is the 30,000 foot overview, what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, the broad overview, how you're going to get there, safety considerations, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So it's kind of the big picture thing is your plan.
Yeah.
Right.
So some of that includes, checking, relating back to what we were talking about, when the unknown happens, like getting lost, check your GPS files,
yep.
Know your course. I mean, all of this is kind of planning as far as making your list.
Yep.
Santa mode, like I said, making your list, checking it twice.
Mm-hmm.
And we check ours probably 3 or 4 times. We make a list well in advance, then a little closer to.
Yeah, I think for a race, like you have a unique opportunity in that depending on the race, I suppose, but every race we've ever done, they upload a file or 2 or 3 for the topography, the terrain. Some are better than others, the elevation. Yeah. So you can get, and we nerd out on this stuff a little bit, but it's also a safety plan. We know when we're going to be going up. We know when we're coming down. We know the distances between aid stations. Yeah. It's not just a fun to know thing. It can be very crucial. Yeah. And for us, the planning is, it helps us feel safe when we start a race. Yeah.
And we're very fortunate to have each other. So there are times where we'll reach out to, one of our moms or something and tell them when we expect to be done. Mm-hmm. But we do have each other out there. But a lot of people run solo.
They do.
So, I mean, planning for yourself is extremely important, right? And reaching out to someone, a loved person saying, I should be at this checkpoint by this time and I should be here by this time, because the race directors and the people running the race don't know your pace and they don't know when you should be at certain points. So it is important to kind of let someone know. And then after planning, I think like preparing. So that includes, having stuff laid out, last minute or rush packing. I find this to ring so true, but last minute packing leads to forgetting stuff. Mm-hmm. If you're rushed, if you're too stressed, if you're not doing it early enough, you'll forget something. And preparing also means, making sure that your gear is prepared. Your bear spray is not expired.
Know what you need. Know what the mandatory requirements are for a race. They all have mandatory must carry gear. They don't just put it on there for fun. There's a reason why it's on there, like those safety blankets. Mm-hmm. And then again, if you're running just recreationally, I think that you should not take that lightly. You should prepare much the same and have the same emergency and safety kits.
And the risk can even be higher if you're not running a race. If you're running, because at least when you're running a race, you have individuals who will eventually notice you're gone. Because you have a bib number and they account for every bib number, right? Totally. And so, but if you are out in the mountains by yourself and trail running, like we just did 2 days ago, say we got stuck up there, and we didn't have a headlamp or our batteries died. I mean, that's a super real, no one knows. No one knew. I don't think we were going there. Your mom might've known, but, making sure, you have preparing is extra batteries, having those blankets.
Yeah. Bring your headlamps, bring multiple.
Yeah. And even for me, this is a big one too, is, laying your stuff out and preparing for it, but also not only bringing it into the car to your race or to your destination, but also double checking that it's like on your person. Right. And in your vest.
Have your boyfriend double check it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what do we need? Because most of the time that happened with the races that, we got to a checkpoint. You mentioned headlamps, but I was busy filling waters. Yes. You were on the can. Yeah. You were having stomach issues. Then we got back and we're ready to go. And then you said, again, did you grab the headlamps? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I can only do so much. Yeah. But I totally forgot them. But thankfully,
I think you said we don't need them.
I said we don't need them. Yeah, totally.
Guess what we needed.
Yeah. I was like, we'll be fast enough. And you're like, no,
we won't.
And thankfully we grabbed them. Yeah. Because even though it was dim, I still had something, right?
That's something.
And as you coined your term, when in doubt, drop bag it out. Mm-hmm. Which great phrase.
Overpack.
over prepare.
Yeah, and that's a thing where you might make light of it and think it's funny.
And I've done that lots.
I bring too much.
Oh, lots. Yeah.
Do
bring too much. Yeah.
It's a great problem to have.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about bringing a drop bag for any distance, and like any distance where they permit a drop bag. Obviously not applicable if you're running recreationally. In that case, wear a backpack or something with extra volume so you can carry more gear would be my advice, especially if you're going alone. But yeah, in the race world, if you have the option to put a drop bag down, do it.
Yeah.
Unless you are like a world-class runner and you have somebody crewing you and you're expecting to go out there and push for the win. And even then, but I would suggest you bring one regardless of if you use it or not. It's good to have some equipment available to you at a stage in a race where you don't really know if you're going to need it or not. And I would argue that you never know if you're going to need it or not, hence the need to bring it. And in there, you could have extra fuel. You could have extra equipment, poles, shoes, whatever you might need, change of socks.
Yeah.
It's not overkill.
No.
You can have extra batteries for your headlamp if you're needing it. And I think it's, when in doubt, make sure you do it. Err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
If you don't need it, run right by.
Yeah. Bring more than you need. And even sometimes bring a little bit more than you need on your vest yourself too, right?
Totally.
So, an extra gel or two. I always bring extra gels and always bring an extra water, even if I'm thinking I'm only going to drink one.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So I think that over preparing and over planning will lead to a good performance.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good thing to do.
And then if all else goes wrong and fails, like we said, just pivot, right? And in some ways it takes preparing to pivot also. So it takes.
Sorry, the dog's knocking the camera around.
It takes a little preparation to. He's yawning. He's bored with this topic. But it takes some preparation to pivot and just be, I think, agile in your approach. Like, exercise some agility as far as like mentally, like knowing that things can go wrong and you might have to change what you're doing. And so,
Ow. Stop. Lay down. I agree. It's, I think, foolish to think that things are going to go as planned. Most of the time, things don't go as planned. And that is, in a sense, mentally, it's kind of like a built-in mental safety mechanism because when things do go south or not as planned, you already expected in a way.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy by any stretch, but I think overwhelmingly, it's rare that I've ever met anybody who's like, that went exactly how I thought.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like that never happens.
Yeah.
Exactly. Even when it goes well, it doesn't go exactly. Maybe it going well is it not going how you thought it would.
Well, it can happen to anyone. We were just watching a documentary with Cam Hanes and he had been doing Cocodona 250, I think it was. He had planned, prepared, ready to perform this race, and he really exemplified having to pivot. So basically he fell and he hit his head. And honestly, the cut didn't look that bad. Mm-hmm. And there was some blood trickling down his face, but he had hit his head actually quite bad. So much so that it was affecting his sight and the way he was able to see. And then he ended up, it said kind of at the end of the documentary, throughout the race, he ended up actually falling once or twice, breaking a couple fingers. Yeah. And then the medics, I think, actually pulled him and just.
I think his team did before they came. I think he was concussed as well.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a very serious thing and a scary thing. And, he's mentally as strong as they come. So it's one of those things where, you do need to expect the unexpected and have the ability to deal with the unexpected.
Yeah.
And that's where all the planning, the prep can assist you.
Mm-hmm.
The safety concerns, some of them can be mitigated through the P's that we've outlined. Some of it cannot. There's, the mountain does not care about you.
Yeah.
It's kind of an inanimate object. It's a giant rock. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about your bones. It will chew you up and spit you out. But you have within your control a lot, and you can totally plan and prep and be cognizant of what you're doing. Respect the trail, know what you're up to, stay focused, stay on task, run safely. And those things will, I think, benefit you in the long run. If you run into a bear or cougar and it wants to eat you, I don't know how to help you.
Yeah.
We didn't mention bear spray. You could bring bear spray, bear bangers. Did you mention it? Yeah. I hear a lot of people don't know how to use those things. It's not hard.
Yeah.
Go onto YouTube or take a course.
Yeah.
That is I think that's about as much as you can do to prep for that scenario.
Yeah. And one of the really,
good luck.
Yeah. Well, and one of the really kind of tangible things that you can do when you are in the mountains or in a more remote place is a lot of times at these races, and again, this isn't if you're doing kind of a recreational training run, but at these races, you do come across a person whether you have to slow your pace or pick it up a little bit and try and run with another person in your sight line, I think is huge and really important. We have the benefit of running together. Our paces are quite similar, so we're always within a couple feet of each other.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times too, and we saw that quite a bit throughout Sinister, is two guys kind of partnering up, and later you'd see that guy with a different guy and whatever, because you're going at different paces, but people just tend to kind of naturally partner up. But it also is a massive safety factor.
It is. Yeah. I think we intrinsically know that and understand it. We saw very few people running solo.
Yeah.
And they were all running solo.
Yeah.
But people would just, like you said, pair with each other and keep pace. And if you were close, and, we had a fellow kind of chase us down for a long time and stayed with us because he didn't really have a pack, and he fell back, and then he ended up passing us later.
Yeah.
And it's, it just happens.
Yeah.
And I think there is a reason for it, and there's safety in numbers, and it's good to have a buddy. And I would strongly advocate that you do run with someone.
Yeah.
If you go to a race with a friend, stick with them as best you can.
Yeah.
If you are there alone, which many of you are, find people that are running a similar pace. Keep them in sight. You don't have to run side by side with them. I would say you shouldn't, because I was right on your butt when I rolled my ankle, and it was sometimes you're in too close proximity. But stay close. Have somebody within earshot. In a race scenario, more than likely somebody will come by you very quickly. You're probably only a minute away from somebody at almost every point of the race. So, if things go absolutely terrible, then lean on your fellow man, woman, ask for help. People are friendly to help you out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Stay safe.
Yeah, so we hope that kind of helps you guys think about a little bit more seriously, because I know I've gone into some of these runs with very little preparation and planning, and I've seen a lot happen. I was at a race last year in BC too, where a guy fell and cut up his legs and his face quite badly. I ended up walking with him for I think 2K, and then I went ahead and ran up to the next aid station, let them know, hey, there's a guy coming. He's moving okay.
Yeah.
I think I left him when another person came up to walk with him, but and they were calling ahead already for ATVs to kind of come up and grab him, right? Because he had gotten hurt. So it can happen to anyone at any time. And so respect the trail, respect the need for that preparation and that planning as much as you can, and also be willing to pivot if that's the case.
Yeah. Well said.
Thank you. Any closing remarks?
End it.
Thanks for listening to the podcast today. If you have any tips specifically, I mean, there's probably a lot more that we could talk about as far as specifics, but if you have any experiences, please do comment and let us know. And one day, I think maybe we'll talk about some safety for road runners, us roadies, as you like to call us.
Never.
But we'll talk about that one day in the future too. But yeah, stay safe out there when you're on the trails, and thanks for listening. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.